Okay, so here is my top 10 whiskies of the year, and in this video we're going to pick number 1. We're going to rank them. And I'll tell you what, every single one of these is an absolute banger. There is no bad whiskey on this table. Pretty damn incredible, really, but yeah, this was fun, let's just say. I even scored it really legit. Now, I did steal that from Breaking Bourbon, I do apologize, but we got the reserves. Booker's reserves. Buckner 17. Heavenhill 18. And we've got the Colonel E.H. Taylor, that's batch 13, that's a new one, that's good. Abraham Bowman, the special release. Hard one to get, not many people got that one, thanks to the wife. George T. Stagg, VVS, fantastic. The Great and Powerful Coy Hill, the Russell's Reserve 13, and King of Kentucky, a bit of a ringer, but let's see where they all fall, guys. This is going to be awesome. Right, this is for all the marbles to work out what is the number 1 whiskey of 2024, according to me. So, got some favorites here, of course. It's going to be pretty interesting to see whether or not I can even tell the difference between King of Kentucky. You know, I've got some high proofers here, King of Kentucky, got the Coy Hill. The low proof one, it's going to be a bit of an outlier, is Old Fitz. You know, low proofs don't always do well in blinds, but we'll see. Everything else is, she's up there, 120s. So Old Fitz has got it stacked against each other, and Bowman, that's something a little bit special. We'll see where that comes in. I've labelled the Glens so we can pour them. We'll flip them upside down, and then I'll have Brandy shuffle them up so we don't know what's what, and we'll see where everything lies. So it's going to be it's going to be a fun one. So looking forward to this. Going to be a delicious time. Very small pours, just enough to get a flavour. Got 10, so we do ½ ounce pours. Still looking at 5 ounces of fairly heavy stuff. So we will see where we are. No point watching me do it. Get some video here and there, but we'll come back with the results. Okay, so we've finished the blind, and it was very interesting. Me and a buddy, we both did it, and our scores align almost perfectly. We have a couple flipped, and this was legitimate, completely blind, not a double blind. We knew what was in there, and we'd tasted most of the stuff before, but some of it very rarely. And it was just, we had some shockers and some not so shockers ones. So let's get into it with coming in at number 10. Number 10 for both of us was B, and we scored it out of a score of 100. 25 for nose, 50 for palate, and 25 for finish. This one was by far the lowest. Like, everything else, very, very close. This one didn't really come anywhere near. I scored at 60, Buddy scored at 42. This is a bit of a shocker. Heavenhill 18. Now, just on my notes, when the nose was just mild, very mild on the nose, very just almost low proof, just light on the fruits and the honey. It was nice fruits, honey, very nice pour, but it did come right after some a banger, so it did struggle. It was also one of the first ones, being B, but it just didn't seem to stand up in this list. But that's not saying that's not saying it's not a great whiskey. These are all fantastic whiskeys, we've got to be honest. So, coming in at number 9. So this one also struggled. It was a little bit away. It was, for me, I rated it 70. My buddy didn't. My tasting notes was Old Fitz. It just stood out. Very nice, delicious pour. Delicious pour, but it was always going to struggle being 100 proof around these absolute monsters. You know, this is 25 to 35 proof lower than everything else. So this is where blinds aren't really all that cracked up to be. Don't get me wrong, blinds are good and it does make sense, but sometimes to me there's 10 or 15% of whole experience is sort of knowing what you're drinking. Now, whether it's mental or whatever, but you can level set your mind, and you know that this is Old Fitz, it's 100 proof, it's a weeder, and you appreciate it for such. But when you put it up against 120, 135s, it was always going to struggle, but still, number 9 whiskey of the year, Old Fitz. So now we get into number 8, and from here on out, these are all very close. I rated this one 82. Just so you know, my scores from here, 82, 83, 83 and a half, 84, 84 and a half, and then 89, 92 points. So this one for me came in with 82. I had nice nose, and nuts, sweet, very sweet, maybe too sweet, and my buddy, same sort of thing, nutty, sugary, possibly too sweet. Booker's The Reserve. This one is fantastic, man. I am not a Booker's fan. My buddy is particularly not a Booker's fan or a Jim Beam fan. But this one is just fantastic. Mouthfeel on this is crazy. I rated this pretty high on the palate, but the nose and the finish is great on this as well. Booker's The Reserve. Oscar is chewing up the results. 1 second. What would Oscar's results be? He chose B. Cuckoo, you got hiccups. It's because you ate all the results. Coming in at number 7. This one was a bit of a surprise to me as well. I thought this one would do better. This one is a monster bourbon. But still, 7. This whole list, I understand, is a pretty spectacular list, you know, and I understand that a lot of people might not get to try all these, but these bottles are ones I had. Now, if I hadn't mentioned it before, I had to have these bottles, and I was lucky enough to get this because my wife won it. And that is the Bowman Special Release American Oak. This is 135 proof, absolute bomb of a bourbon, man. I had confectionery, sugar, mouth-watering, buddy was bready, sugar, sweet, all throughout, great finish. So this one for me scored an 83. We're getting into the real nitty-gritty here. Like, all of these from here on out, you cut them with a knife, depending on the day, man. Okay, coming in number 6. Buckner's 17 year. Now, once again, this was just half a point above the other one. This was 63.5 for me. Buddy scored the two slightly different, but still very close. This one, I had dusty nose, sweet oak, slight nut. I actually also said lowish proof, which drinks pretty much below its proof, because this guy, well, it's 115. So yeah, on the scale of everything, it is pretty low. But number, make sure I get it right, 6. Now we're into the top 5. This is where me and my buddy transposed these next two. So we're going to go with mine because I know what I'm doing better than he does. So in this one, I had nice nose, honey smooth, long finish. And he had sweet, spicy goodness, spicy caramel, decadent spices, great mouthfeel. And this one is another monster. It's a 2024 George T. Stagg, coming in number 5. This is fantastic, 36.1 proof. This just got it over the 23. So, you know, MSRP on these things is really low. Secondary's coming down. So hopefully they'll become a little bit more available. So number 5, GTS, George T. Stagg. So yeah, so there was half a point between that one and this one. And for my buddy, he was about 2 points different. This one I had slight nuttiness, slight banana, sort of gave it away. Hot with a long finish, but it was delicious. This was also number 1. So I think this was another problem with Heavenhill 18 because it came after this guy, and I got a ringer in, but it is Heavenhill. When I say I got a ringer in, the one I've got open, it's 123.7. My buddy, he actually bought 130.8, so a slightly higher proof one, and the 130s do seem to hit a little bit better than the 121s, just in my experience. But anyway, Jack Daniel's Coy Hill, freaking amazing. It's number 4, 4th best whiskey of 2024. Right, so this could be considered a bit of an upset here. Top 3. and maybe not what you're thinking. So number 3 for both of us was Russell's Reserve 15. Man, this thing is fantastic. Once again, for me, it was all half a point, half a point. I did squeeze myself in a little bit with my scoring, so I had to sort of shuffle stuff around and give things half a point to try and stagger them. But man, I was just like, this is good, great, good, great. I said not as good as the previous. H-I-J. Well, that makes sense. I said not as good as the previous was one of my notes, and my buddies was steamed fruits, sweet oak, lots of proof. So once again, another fantastic classic bottle. Didn't make our number 1, didn't even make our number 2. So Russell Reserve number 3 whiskey of the year. So number 2 whiskey of the year. This one is a bit of a shocker. This one I just recently got. As soon as I tried it, man, I just knew this was something special. My notes are like butterscotch and wow. And my buddies was just like, yeah, we both got butterscotch. This is the one, you know. Not saying we didn't try to influence each other, but we did talk, and he just said butterscotch, and it's like, yeah, man. And then even my wife smelled it, and it's just the sweet vanilla butterscotch. It's Colonel E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof Batch 13. This thing is fantastic. I'm going to need a backup of this guy because I think this is really special. It drinks like all the E.H. Taylor Barrel Proofs are great. They're just great bourbons, but this has got something special. The sweetness in this, and the butterscotch, the vanilla, the caramels. It's really good. It's really good. It's number 2 whiskey of the year. And number 1 with a bullet. Probably not fair. I'm happy I picked it. Legitimately picked it. But I'll say it was close. Like, this one was 1 point. E.H. Taylor was 92. This one was 93, but King of Kentucky. The notes on this was just cherry cola, great finish. Gave it by far the best palate. Buddies with like cream soda, sweet, proof, spicy, great mouthfeel. It's just got everything. I know this is single barrel and they're all different. This one is 134.1 proof, but King of Kentucky won it again. So the number 1 whiskey of the year for House Bourbon. So thanks for watching. Yeah, that was fantastic. That was a fun flight. Like, that's don't normally get to do that sort of stuff, and that's what bourbon's all about, is to do stuff that you don't normally get to drink and put it all into a big blind like that and drink it all. So anyway, thanks for watching, and like, subscribe, comment. Tell me what you think your best bourbon of the year was. Tell me what your best bourbon of your life is. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.